All right, today we're cracking open a case file on a name every single person on the planet knows. We're going behind the golden arches, beyond the drive-thru, and deep into the secret files of McDonald's.
I mean, you know the sight, right? The golden arches, the smell of the fries, those childhood memories of a Happy Meal. For pretty much all of us, it's just familiar. It's this massive global symbol of food that's fast, cheap, and the same no matter where you are in the world. But what if I told you that beneath that shiny, happy surface, there's a whole other history? A history packed with bizarre promotions, bitter betrayals, and some seriously high-stakes conspiracies. Today, we're not just looking at the menu. No, we're opening the official case files. Okay, let's pull out our first file, the curious cases. We're going to start with the weird stuff, the stories that just make you scratch your head and ask, wait, they did what? No, you are not reading that wrong. Back in 1978, and then again in the 80s, McDonald's apparently thought the one thing missing from your Egg McMuffin was a disposable razor. Yeah, they teamed up with Gillette and Bic to give away free razors with breakfast. It's a bizarre combo for sure, but hey, it must have worked because they did it twice. And then there's the great Szechuan sauce fiasco. This is such a wild story about how a dipping sauce from the 90s for the movie Mulan suddenly became the most sought-after thing on the planet. Why? Because it got a shout-out in the cartoon Rick and Morty. Fans went nuts, petitions started, and McDonald's finally agreed to a limited re-release. They just completely failed to realize how many people wanted it. The result was pure chaos. We're talking riots, police getting called, all over a dipping sauce. Ah, the age-old question. It's a meme, it's a running joke, it's that universal moment of disappointment. You just want to make McFlurry and you hear those fateful words, sorry, our machine's down. But here's the thing, is it really broken? Well, the truth is way, way more interesting. So here's the secret. The machine is basically locked in this super complicated, super restrictive contract. See, it has to run this 4-hour-long automatic cleaning cycle. But that cycle fails a lot. And when it does, it throws up a secret error code that the employees can't do anything about. They're literally not allowed to fix it. They have to call a specialized and expensive technician from the manufacturer, Taylor, and then just wait. So the machine isn't broken. It's being held hostage. So from weird operational quirks, things are about to get a lot more serious. Let's open case file number 2, courtroom battles. These are the legal fights that totally changed how we see the company. Now, you've probably heard jokes about this one, the hot coffee lawsuit. For years, it was painted as some kind of frivolous cash grab. But the actual facts of the case are horrifying. The coffee gave a 79-year-old woman third-degree burns that required skin grafts. And here's the kicker that came out in court. McDonald's was keeping its coffee at a dangerously hot temperature, way hotter than you'd ever make at home, and they knew it was dangerous. They had over 700 prior complaints about people getting burned, but they just didn't do anything about it. Next up, the McLibel case. I mean, if you want a true David versus Goliath story, this is it. You have two activists, with no lawyers, representing themselves against the entire legal army of McDonald's for more than 10 years. All because they handed out a leaflet criticizing the company. It became a total PR nightmare for McDonald's and ended with a huge human rights ruling that actually defended the activists' right to free speech. All right, we're digging deeper now. This next case file, it's not about a glitchy machine or a legal battle. This goes right to the very beginning, to the foundation of the entire empire. It's a story about a brilliant idea, raw ambition, and a handshake deal that ended in a devastating betrayal. So you've got two sets of players here. In one corner, you have the McDonald brothers, Richard and Maurice. These guys were geniuses who invented this incredibly efficient, speedy service system. And in the other corner, you have Ray Kroc, a sharp-witted milkshake machine salesman who saw their little restaurant and didn't just see a burger joint. He saw a global empire. Their goals could not have been more different. Kroc's drive to expand clashed constantly with the brothers' desire to just keep things simple and high quality. But in 1961, he finally wore them down. He convinced them to sell him the entire company, the brand, everything, for $2.7 million. And back then, that was a massive amount of money. But, and this is the crucial part of the story, there was something else. A part of the deal that wasn't in the final written contract. It was a handshake agreement. A promise from Kroc that the brothers would get half of 1% of all future profits. Forever. A deal that was meant to set their family up for generations. So, how much of that royalty money did the McDonald's brothers ever get to see? Not a single dime. Zero. That handshake deal was never honored. The verbal agreement, which today would be worth hundreds of millions of dollars every year, just vanished once Ray Kroc had total control. And if you think that's cold, listen to this. As one final, ruthless move, Kroc opened a brand new, shiny McDonald's just 1 block away from the brothers' original restaurant. He used the name they sold him to deliberately drive them out of business. He put the very men who invented McDonald's into the ground. For our final case file, we're getting into straight-up criminal conspiracy territory. Seriously, this one sounds like it was ripped from a movie script. It's got greed, deception, the mob, the FBI, all centered around McDonald's most famous game. We all remember the McDonald's Monopoly game, right? You'd collect those little pieces, dreaming of winning a car or $1 million bucks. Well, from 1995 to 2000, it turns out you basically had zero chance of winning any of the big stuff. The entire game was rigged from the inside. So how'd they pull it off? It was an inside job, of course. The whole thing was run by a guy named Jerome Jacobson. He was the head of security for the company that actually printed the game pieces. He would just steal the winning tickets before they were ever put into circulation. Then he'd sell them to a whole network of fake winners, friends, family, even members of the mob, who would go claim the prizes and they'd all split the money. And we're not talking about a little bit of money here. The whole scheme was absolutely massive. Before the FBI finally cracked the case, Jacobson and his crew had stolen over $24 million worth of prizes. For years, they had rigged almost every single major prize in the game. So, there you have it. From weird promotions and broken ice cream machines to landmark lawsuits, a betrayal at the very heart of the company, and a multi-million-dollar criminal fraud. All of these cases are now part of the official record. So the only question left is, after opening these secret files, do you still see the golden arches the same way?